One time I tell them I'm California dreaming.
What is up, family? It's your girl, Janette Smith, certified life strategist and mindset coach. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. This is Straight Talk Tuesday, and I'm really looking forward to today's show. We are talking about today the importance of thriving in disrupted times, thriving in a disrupted world. I think you all get it. We're kind of in a space that most of us have never been before. And I wanted to call in somebody that I highly regard in this area. Not only is he what I call my personal disruptor coach or disruptor guru, but he is a brand architect. He is an executive coach to CEOs and leaders alike. He is also one of the most innovative guys I know. So he's a master innovator as well. But his story is so unique. I think it will also inspire you as we all try to find ways to maneuver from one role in our purpose to the next. Great story, great guy. I want you all to help me welcome Greg Centineo to the stream this morning. Disruption. This has been a really crazy few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to say the least. It's been definitely an unprecedented experience for everybody, I think. And I think we can actually say everybody because it's globally, which is kind of very unprecedented in and of itself. So it's very, very unique.
Yeah. And so we had this conversation and I thought it was worth bringing up because it's going to take us into our first kind of area discussion in terms of perspective. When we say crazy to me might mean something different than crazy to you. So when we go, oh my God, it's crazy, it just might mean I'm a little bit inconvenienced, right?
Yeah. Or
it could mean for some people, it's kind of crazy. They've lost their jobs, or they themselves may be dealing with the coronavirus.
And it is, and there's all different levels, and everybody's going to go through their experience in this. And it's important, though, I think, to experience your experience in this. Mm-hmm. I think I shared with you the other day, I was with a friend. They said to me, isn't this crazy? This is crazy. And I'm standing in this beautiful backyard it's very peaceful. It's a beautiful night. It's cool. There was nothing crazy that was going on. And there was nothing crazy going on in their lives other than the fact that, we've shut down the world and things have changed, but it's not crazy. Their world wasn't crazy. Somebody wasn't dying of corona in their house. They weren't starving for food. They had toilet paper, but yet they embraced this whatever they're hearing and brought it into their own life. And I think that becomes the problem when you start to your experience, your reality is not crazy. So why make it crazy? Why stir it up in your head?
Right. You are the quintessential kind of Renaissance guy, in my opinion, in terms of having a purpose, like this overarching thing, this thing that you want to kind of do. But man, so many roles that you did that through and you embraced all of them and you thrived in all of them. Mm-hmm. So share a little bit of your journey.
I'm very grateful, man, for the decisions I've made over the past 50 years of my life. It's just about becoming more and more aware, not just self-aware, but also externally aware of what's going on around me. I was fortunate enough, maybe because with my intuitive spirit, just to look around and ask questions, and I just chose to always do what I wanted to do. And I always say the last job I had, I was 16, and I worked in Food Town in Brooklyn, which was a grocery supermarket and produce aisle, and that was it. And I remember my dad saying to me, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I hated what I did. I didn't like putting the fruit out in the grocery,
Right.
And so I quit. And that was the last time I ever did something that I didn't want to do. In my late teens, I really had a lot of questions about death and life and why are we here? Is there anything beyond brushing your teeth every day and playing stickball? Which led me down a path to go out and study theology, and went to school to study pastoral studies, and in that pursuit really asked a lot of questions, was in church. I was brought up as a Catholic, but I wasn't, nothing against Catholics. I'm Catholic, it just wasn't the right cadence for me, man. So, but I found these, evangelical churches were cool. They had bands. The guy was funny who was speaking. It was just a little bit different, you know, and I began to understand there was definitely a larger story, a larger narrative to life than just my own little world and so forth. And that led me down a myriad of paths, man. I took Jesus for what he said, man. He said, you know, basically live your life, man. I'm giving you a certain amount of coins and go spend your coins, dude.
Right.
Go do it, man. And I did it. And so I did ministry for about a decade, you know, and loved that. And then realized, man, I understood ministry as not it's a lifetime calling, but it's not a lifetime location.
Right.
I realized, man, I can't do the building anymore, you know, the fortress. I got to get out of here. I got to go do business and bring community and everything that I've learned in what I've studied and what I've lived, and bring it into the business world and so forth, and bring it into my personal world. And that's what I ended up doing, you know. So I've been in so many industries, and, you know, I'm a disruptor, which just simply means I just go into something. If it's not working right, we're going to fix it. We're going to change what has to change to get the results that we want. That's the bottom line. That's all that matters in life. What do you want? And are you getting what you want? If you're not, change it.
Right. Well, I love that you shared all of that. I mean, you were in a barista for a while, you were this, you were that. I think it's important. It helps people go, oh, wow. So I don't have to feel like maybe this is the end of the road for me because I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Out of all of those things that he talked about, let's flash forward to another historical marker in our history here, the economic downturn that happened 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Many of us were old enough to live through that. This was during a time when you thrived. Mm-hmm. When you, working on private industry projects, raised $122 million. Is that the right? Did I get the figure right? $122 million at a time when people were losing their homes, losing their jobs, companies were closing out, and you made that happen.
Yeah, man, that was a time of disruption, and not to mention that I was at ground zero of that disruption because I was in banking when that thing hit. So, in 2007, when the banking industry collapsed, the real estate markets collapsed, the global economies collapsed, and I was in the middle of it. So I didn't wake up, panic. I woke up, I said, we got a real problem. This is a really problem. And so I create solutions. What's the solution? What do I do in this situation? How do I help? Like I tell people, there's opportunities in every situation, good and bad. And so there was an opportunity I had in Los Angeles it was a startup concept with an idea. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is really great. Let me jump from a sinking ship into a steam cruiser. You know, it was just an idea, but it was those ideas. It was a good idea. There was a lot of belief behind this idea, and there was a lot of hope. And so with a good idea, with belief and hope, I thought, man, I like this. I think we can do it, and let's see if we can do something that's impossible and make it possible. And we did it, and that was the Legends project, the independent animation feature. We worked hard. We grinded. I mean, we were faced every day with, this is not going to work. This is impossible. Why are you even doing this? No one has any money. No one's going to, I heard all the negatives. Everything was negative. And we did it. That was a learning experience for me, but I don't gauge the environment. The environment, I watch the environment, but it doesn't determine if I'm going to do it or not. I determine if I'm going to do it or not. I don't look at it's too hard, so I'm not going to do this. And I don't predict the outcomes. A lot of times, Janette, people predict outcomes and then make decisions based on a prediction. And that's just not how I operate. I don't know if I'm going to succeed. I don't know if I'm going to fail. What I have to know is, should I be doing this? Do I believe I should do this right now? And then should I be putting all my energies and efforts and resources into what I believe I should be doing? I do that in everything. That's why I'm not afraid of an idea. I think, well, how are you going to do it? I don't, we'll do it. We'll figure it out. Today's no different than it was in 2008 for me. Matter of fact, it's a lot better than it was in 2008. Matter of fact, it's tons better than it was in 2008, guys. Because in 2008, it was one country at a time going under, right? It was people losing jobs. Right. No one's losing any jobs today. You have recess. It's like school. All right, recess. Everybody go out in the yard and play. Right. Our recess is go home and don't come out. But it's recess. It's like, all right, you got your job. Like no one's going to steal your job. Like, oh, well, this restaurant, I'm going to go to another restaurant work. You can't go to any restaurant work because they're not hiring anybody. Right. So it's a complete recess for the entire world economy. So relax. millions of people are not dying. Tens of millions of people are not dying like the plague back in 1917. So relax. And if you do get sick, there is a 98% chance you're going to survive. There is a small section of the demographic that is in high jeopardy. It's kind of why we're doing all this, right? So when you start to really evaluate, then you go, okay, so it's not a panic. So it's the same thing. And then I say, then look for the opportunity. And it's everywhere right now. I mean, you think about this. In 2008, we really didn't have social media.
Right.
We have it in 2020. And today, 8 billion people, or the greater part of 8 billion people, are on their phones and computers right now, just like we are.
That's
and
right.
So if you've got something to say, this is when you got a chance to say it, because the world is listening. Number two, as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, I hear this from all kinds of entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs or startups or idea guys and women. You know, they always say, oh, I'm out of work this full-time job, but I'm working in my garage to get my startup going. If I only had time, I'd really be okay. Well, you know what? You now have time.
Yes, we do.
The 8 billion people have all the time in the world. The only commodity in this life that burns nonstop is time. So you got to make the best of time. So right now, if I told you 3-4 months ago, hey, listen, I got something to tell you. You're going to have your job. Matter of fact, you're going to have you're going to have all the time in the world. You've got nothing to do for about 2 months, including everybody else in the world.
Right.
Okay. They're not going to shut your electricity off. It's against the law. Right. They're not going to evict you because you didn't pay your rent. They're not going to foreclose on you because you didn't pay your mortgage. So basically, you got a pretty much of a free ride for about 60 days.
Right.
So what are you doing with it? Instead, what I see on social media is, home bored. Oh, I'm going crazy. Oh, I don't know what to do. Here's the reality. People just don't do a time. And there's excuses. There's zero excuses today. If you got a startup, you're an entrepreneur, or you have a dream, you have a vision, you have an idea. Guess what? You get ideas done by talking to people and people believing in your ideas and them helping you get so everybody's got nothing to do. You got all the people in the world to talk to right now with all the time in the world, and yet people still don't do it.
Yeah. I think we have, from a mindset perspective, this idea that everything has to line up perfectly for us to get a good outcome, when actually some of the greatest things that are given birth come out of just mess, just total mess. So quit waiting. What I hear you saying is look for the opportunities in the middle of the mess.
Just do it, man. I say do it. Do something. I tell my musicians that are out there right now, if you're not doing an Instagram live or Facebook live and singing, to my actors, I say, if you're not acting, like you have TikTok, what a great platform to show because everybody's watching right now. So just do something, people saying, well, I think I have a lot to say. Then say it, say it, man.
Yeah, right.
These platforms say it. So it's just fear. And I get that, man, and you never overcome fear. You just become brave. And you face the fear and you do it anyway. I
love this quote. I put up Rodney's quote here. Put the bike together while you're riding it. I love that.
Rod, that's awesome.
Great. I love it. Don't be a victim. Real victims in life. Do something about it. I love what you just said, because I know we've got a bunch of actors and singers on, and artists, visual artists of all types, performance and otherwise. I hope you heard what he said. I hope you don't blow past it. He said you should be showcasing your talent, because a lot of you, I know you've inboxed me and you told me, hey, man, just, be in agreement with me. All my dates canceled. This happened, this shut down because, this concert's done, this tour's done, this. Get online. You see it all the time. People are getting online. They're just having these free and people are clamoring to it because you got a captive audience, as Greg said, but then people also want to be taken out of this. They want a distraction out of the stay at home, you can't go anywhere situation. They're looking for places for inspiration, and you never know who you inspire who might not support your vision.
Janette, let me say this to them too. What matters today with content, whether it's whatever your content is, okay, is that it brings value to people's lives. So right now, people need value, right? We're scrolling through Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, looking for what? Value content, right? We're watching previews, we're looking for really good content. It's the same thing. So if you have something that you bring value to the world, to people, then bring it out, man. This is the time to bring that value out. It matters.
I want you to delve into that a little bit, Greg, just to define your terms. Like when you say your content must bring value, what do you mean specifically by value? Because that could mean different things to different people. What do you consider value?
So value means it's meaningful to somebody. It's not just, it's entertaining, right? You have an entertainment level, you have an inspiration level, you have a motivation level to something, you have an emotional level to something. So if I'm going to speak to artists, or I'm an artist, I am an entrepreneur. I have value to bring to people that want to do what they want to do. So me if I just stay home and not go on platforms and talk, I can't make people watch it, but my value, I'm delivering value. And it's authentic to who I am. It's my special stamp that goes out. That's my value content, right? It's what makes me who I am. It's what I believe, what I understand. Doesn't mean it's right for everybody.
Right.
And so I'm delivering value in my content, which means it's meaningful. It's helpful to people. It helps somebody do something for themselves, right? And whatever you're doing, if you're an artist, if you're a singer, songwriter, I mean, if you're performing and all your dates are canceled, then those people, that's because your dates were canceled and there's no venue. It doesn't mean people don't want to go and hear you sing. It just means how they hear you sing is going to be different. And so you have to be innovative. You've got to be creative now. And you got to say, how do I do a concert? How do I do something online? It's not easy to be innovative and to figure out, because the opportunities don't always look like opportunities, by the way. If opportunities showed themselves for what they actually were going to be, everybody would jump all over them, but they don't.
Right. I just got a email, I guess, last night that made me think about how everyone and every entity is having to navigate this time. There's I forget what it's called here. It's the Live Bible something. It's like one of these big showcases. They do it in Pennsylvania. It's huge production. It's like $80 and up a ticket, right? And so a lot of people have purchased tickets to see this. They're not sitting around going, you know what? You can't get your, we're not. They're streaming it live for everyone free. Right. And you just have to adjust your thinking, because there would be some who would say, man, don't give away that content for free. Don't do that. Right. But I bet you they'll have more loyal people come back to them because of that idea and sense of give back and serve during this time.
Yeah, you make a great point, Janette. Really great point. It's like, what is free? What are you giving away? And what really is value? Okay, so we think, I have to sell my song. So if I don't sell my song to the 2,500 or 35,000 that are following me, then I don't make money, Greg. So how do I do this? Well, wait a minute. The whole idea is, how do you want to stay at 35,000, or you want to have 1 million people?
That's right.
So today is what you call it's a marketing. It's about creating awareness, and this is the greatest opportunity from a marketing perspective to now create awareness for whatever it is you say you have value to offer the world, for them to exchange it for a commodity called a dollar or a yen or whatever it's going to be, right? So you have to utilize that right now. If you can go from 35,000 people like you and follow you and engage with your content, then 350,000 would, 3.5 million would, right? 5 million would. So this is the opportunity right now for you to utilize this time, because the world is available, right? I always say the hardest thing to do is get somebody to pay attention. And the word pay is in there for a reason, because attention is not, getting someone's attention is not free.
It's not free.
It's
not.
I feel like I'm up balance. There we go. Yeah, it's not free. So even to get somebody to pay attention to what you have, forget about buy it, takes something of value, right? How you get someone's attention. So it's really great, because right now, you're not fighting for their attention because they have a million things. They're looking for good value. And so bring it out, whatever it is. If you're an inspirational communicator, if you have a business, right? If you have a barbecue business, right? Well, look, guess what? Your greater area that you work in needs to know about your barbecue business. And not just that, if you have product, then the country should know about what's available and why. And this is a great time to create narrative around what it is that you do. For instance, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do what you do? The why is so important. People are more engaged. Forget the product, right? That's why I'm a brand architect, because everybody's a brand. So everybody's a brand. No, and it's a great point, Neil. Attention is not free. It costs us something to get somebody to pay attention. Think about that.
Yeah.
Literally, it's not free. That's why they have to pay for them to give you attention. It's costing them. They're paying attention because time is money.
You can't get it back.
You can't get it back, man. So one of the greatest, and people lose that anyway. They just blow out their time all the time. But people choose what they pay to put their attention on, because they understand there's a value to their eyes and their brain and their time. Remember that, man. So it's really important. That's just understanding psychology. It's just how the world works, right? Create a net. Listen, so important, man. It's what's behind the brand is more important than the brand. People choose. Listen, the truth and reality is people choose to work with somebody because they like them.
That person,
people also choose a product because they like what's behind the product, man. Most of the stuff in my loft is products that I believe in, not just the product, because I can get cleaning stuff from anywhere, right? But why do I have certain cleaning stuff? Because I believe in the ethos behind it, the people, and why they do that. The coffee that I have, the grinder that I buy is all about a story, a narrative that's behind that. So start to really tell your story, man. If you have a phone and you're on Instagram or Facebook and you're not doing a live, if you have followers, people just don't know you. We don't know each other. So this is a phenomenal opportunity to get to know you, why, and the why behind you, the why behind what you do. I'm meeting with leaders and business people and entrepreneurs all the time now because they have nothing to do and they're calling. They want, Greg, give us a perspective. And I love it because I'm giving them the same thing. Go create your narrative. This is the time to really, your brand can take on a persona, right? And then that becomes, now when you do that, you become distinct in a market of similar products, right?
Yeah.
What makes your product, your song, your voice distinctive, right, is the story behind that. And everybody has their own unique narrative, their own unique story. And people will resonate with that and become loyal to that because they feel a sense of connection to that. And all of a sudden, your product becomes distinctive. It rises above the others. And that's how you gain success in this world. You want to have, it's monopolistic competition, right? What makes your product or your business? How do you create a monopolistic competition where you have no competition? You've monopolized it. Why? Because you've risen above the product and you brought a greater value to that, which is story. Story, man. We all relate to story. And your story, my story. How did Greg Centineo get where he is in 2020? What was the path like? What were the challenges? What were the failures? What were the successes? What was the romance behind that, right? That all of a sudden creates dimension, right, and color in who I am and what I am, and it creates a connection. People resonate with that. It inspires humanity, right? Yeah. It literally inspires humanity. I think, in a great case in point to this, and whether you like him or you don't like him, Steve Jobs was a unique human being that when I studied his life, I understood the product better. Oh yeah, this is why it's good. It's good if you like to do No, it's not about graphics.
Right.
It is about graphics. When I understood who was behind the product and what went into that product and what the ethos was and what the belief was in that and the level of excellence that he had and what he communicated and why he lost his temper with people and threw them out and fired because they didn't want to rise to the level that he wanted the product to be. I mean, you fall in love with that narrative, and then you adopt that narrative into your own personal life and into your own company, right? It's all about really providing value, man. And so if you put out a crappy product, you're putting out crappy value,
right?
Crap, right? But if you put out great value, tell why there's no way. I can tell you what, the person putting out really crappy products is because all they want to do is make money.
Yeah.
They just want to make money, so they don't care.
Yeah.
The person that really wants to put out real value, you might pay, but there's a belief system behind that, man. There's a belief system behind everything that's going on in our world. And so your chance to create the narrative talks about what you believe. You're not proselytizing people and telling them to believe what I believe. No, you're just telling them why.
Right. Yeah. We had, when I was in news, we would have periodic times when they would have consultants come in and tell us about our on-air performance and this and critique that and do this. And one of the things that I will always hold on to is that adage of people connect to people, because anybody could watch the news and get their information from anything, but people connect to people. And so that, in that sense, I bring that up to say, be yourself as you're doing whatever you're doing. Some of my clients, and again, there's nothing wrong with coaches and experts out there that are trying to get you to multiply your impact by doing a bunch of stuff really fast and just hammering people with a lot of stuff. But to the point you made, it's got to have value in that it should be of great quality. And I want to say that because I want you to help me release some people's hearts from, no, but they say I got to just keep hammering and keep, beating people over the head with content. And I'm like, nah, they want to learn about you. Be yourself. And then what you put out has to be great and authentic.
Yeah, I love that, Janette, man. So, there's don't sell anything, guys. Stop selling, right? What Janette's saying is authenticity is a magnet. It pulls, right? And I've never sold anything in my life, and I can sell anything, man, because I'm good. One, I'm a master learner and I'm a master communicator. So I choose to educate people on things. But more important than anything else in my journey, what I've learned is me being authentic to myself, and not so you like it, but so I can be self-aware.
Right.
I can love myself, not like myself or hate myself. I can actually love myself because I understand who I am, and then the authenticity of that by me being me. I'll wear what I want. I'll say what I don't care. I'm not here to. I'm just here to talk what I
Right.
feel, how I feel like talking. That's authenticity. Authenticity communicates to people. Okay, it's your direct line to humanity, and authenticity is connected to the soul. So you can see a beautiful person, and then you talk them into a very ugly soul.
Yeah.
Right? And you go, wow, that beauty's gone, right? But but the truth is, an authentic person is beautiful, irregardless of what the physical appearance is. And the only thing we have, the true sense that we have with each other, is authenticity. It's an energy, it's a vibration, and people feel it. They know when it's not authentic. They don't say it, they just get a feeling and they walk away, go, I don't know, I'm not going to do it. I just don't feel right about it. It's not feeling the authenticity. Intuitive, right, is now be authentic to yourself and then be intuitive. And what intuitive is your direct line to God.
Yeah.
To the universe, whatever you refer to it.
That's right.
And it's how you're spoken, or we are spoken to by the universe or by God. It resonates with our soul. It's the intuitive feeling. God doesn't just pop down and drop and write on a pad and say, oh, this is what I want you to do. Okay, I'll do it. No, it's this ambiguity to it. Isn't this sense of uncertainty sometimes? It's like, I don't know if it is. I just feel like I should. Everything tells me not. Everything and everyone tells me not to. But man, intuitively, I really feel this. You go with that. That's what you trust. You listen to people. I always tell my kids and my leaders, listen to everyone and follow no one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You take in information, which is vital. You listen to people's perspectives, but you follow no one. You follow your intuition, and you use information, and then you use that feeling that you get, and that's how you make decisions. So authenticity connects to humanity, intuition connects to God, but they both come from the soul.
Yeah. Yeah. You I've been kind of weaving us down this path of your journey past. We haven't talked a lot about the challenges, but I know one of the challenges for many of us in times of disruption is the comfort zone. That comfort zone. How do you coach people past that? I know several people that are watching now that just launched businesses prior to all of this happening. And so now they're in this kind of gray area. How do we approach the borders of our comfort zones?
So first, there is no such thing as a comfort zone. It's person made. It's a non-reality. We're in grave danger every second of our lives. Okay, and like I said, if you forget the pandemic for a second. I mean, you've got a moon that's orbiting the Earth. If that thing went off track, headed for Texas, we got a serious problem.
Yeah, right.
You want anxiety? That's a serious problem. Okay, so we live in a universe that's chaotically stable. Okay, we're on a planet that if I ask you the question, how does it operate and how does it keep things going? Where is the back door for the room I can go in and see where the Earth's mechanism? We don't even know yet. We're riding on this ship, if you would, traveling in the universe to an unknown destination. I mean, you want comfort zone? There is no such thing as a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Now from childhood, we talked about this the other day, from childhood, we're taught to get them on as soon as you can, the quicker you can get them on a schedule, the better they will be. And what that does is it limits things. What it does is it shrinks your world. So you think you're controlling your world, because we feel the only way I can get through this is by feeling like I have a sense of control. You don't. And that's the ambiguity of life. Right? Jesus said the spirit is like wind. You feel it, you see its effect on the trees, but you have no idea where it comes from or where it's going. So stop. Let's stop with the control. Stop with the comforts, because the only thing that happened to 90% of us in the world, if not more, was our schedules got messed up. Do you understand? Right. For 90% of the world today, your schedules got messed up. Your comfort zones your patterns got distorted. That's what disrupted you. And you got nowhere to go but home. You can't go to restaurants. That's the problem. That's a problem. Seriously, this is what we're all. Oh my gosh, and I can't get toilet paper. You know what? I knock on my neighbor's door. I get toilet paper. If it's not on the shelf in Target, it's in someone's house around me. I'm just gonna knock at you. They hoarded it. To be fair, give me a couple of rolls. I'll give it to you when this thing is out. I mean, do you understand? It's like this is not. It's serious. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But for 90% of us, you're not in the serious. You're not in the rapids.
Right.
Okay. Our leadership, our government, governors, and they're in the doctors, the nurses, right? They're in the trenches right now.
Right.
They're in that chaos. You're not. So comfort zone. Your comfort zone got disrupted, and you're like, oh, it's just like horrible. It's not horrible. So what I did in my own life was as best as I can, I perpetually evolve, and I stop anything that I get comfortable with. I change because it sneaks in on you.
That's good.
It just comforts. You think you beat it, then it sneaks in again. And we will always try to create this safety net, And you ride on a Ferris wheel, and you got the bar in front of you, and you think, well, I got the bar. All right, I got the bar. The bar is going to hold me. So do you understand? So we have to realize that comfort. And I'm not talking about leisure. I'm talking about a sense of comfort or laying down with a pillow. That's not what I'm talking about. Pillows, I like big blankets. I like it cold. I mean, what I'm talking about is things that you shrink wrap your world so you can control it. And if you can control it, guess what? It's not big enough.
Yeah. And
you have to start to realize, if you started a business in this pandemic, then just relax. It might fail. And you know what? I'm going to explain this to you. Always go worst case scenario first. What if it fails? Well, what if it fails? What's going to happen? Well, before you started the business, what was going on in your life? You made it to this point in your life without. So if the business fails, are you doomed? Are you done? Are you history? Is the future? No. Guess what? If you fail, I guarantee you will be one of the few who failed. Or you failed through a pandemic, but you went through a pandemic and failed.
Right.
So guess what? Nice try, man, but it was a pandemic. I tell people that went bankrupt in 08, 09, 10, and 11. I go, let me explain this to you. You didn't go bankrupt when the economy was soaring. You went bankrupt when most people went bankrupt. I mean, you held on for 4 years. I mean, that's what happens. Things like that happen. You have to be able to embrace failure. You have to be able to embrace the comfort is, it's small enough that I feel like I'm not going to fail. And then if something goes wrong in that comfort zone, you panic and you get anxiety. Well, guess what? You created the anxiety because you created a very small, narrow window to live in. And then, God forbid, if something goes wrong in there, you don't want the outcome of what you have to embrace all outcomes. And the confidence you have to have in yourself is that you'll create solutions in any situation, good situations and bad. You'll figure it out. Like, we always realize the only thing we do in life every single day is figure it out.
Yeah.
You're single. Guess what you're trying to figure out? I'm trying to figure out how to meet someone. And you work, everybody works really hard at, if you're single, how am I going to meet somebody that I really love? I don't want to, create a solution. So it's in everything. So, all right, pandemic, what's going on around me? I take a true inventory of it. I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
I watch updates from mayors, governors, and the president, and I don't listen to the news ever. Ever. It's been 13 years since I've listened to the news or read a newspaper. I'll read sports sometimes or something, but I don't watch it. Why? It's loading me up with information that have absolutely nothing to do with the solution of. So you know what? It's none of my business. You don't have the bandwidth to carry the world's problems. And what the news does, it unloads the world's problems on your back. Now, and then you watch it before you go to bed at night, and you wonder why you can't sleep and you have anxiety. I get outside. People, it's true. People tell me, I go, don't you watch, what do you
Right,
still,
exactly.
You still watch the news? Oh, I don't really watch the, but you still watch, you watch Fox, I watch CNN. Really? So, but I'm not really listening. Then shut it off. You have to be careful what you're listening to.
Absolutely. And along with what you're listening to, what you share. Those of you who follow me know that drives me just batty when people share. I've had people share, I've seen people share satirical websites as if they were true news stories. And I'm like, do you know that's so false? It's like a big lie. So we have to really be responsible with what we're taking in. You got to know your boundaries. Listen, I did news for 27 years. I don't watch it every day. What can I tell you? But you got to know, like you said, you got what you have the bandwidth for. I know one question that kept coming up was people were saying that, is it really hitting people at the top as it is the small business guy or gal? Are these big corporations really getting hit and hammered as hard as we are? You've worked with CEOs in the entertainment industry. What are you seeing there?
Well, the platforms are thriving, right? The Netflix, the Disney, this is the best thing that can happen to the platforms because it's people are there. The problem they're having is not enough good content on those platforms, which is an ongoing issue, and that's why they're spending billions a year. AT&T spends $60 billion in content, Disney plus $30 billion, Netflix $8 billion. For content.
I see them pushing some toward like on Amazon Prime, like they're pushing some of the movies that were out.
Yeah.
You can purchase them now online.
Yeah, that was a great move that they made because theaters are closed. So films that were going to have theatrical releases are now releasing on, but they're figuring that out too. They're trying it. They're charging $20. They're getting some pushback. So they're going to, it's a figuring out game. In any business that you are, focus on your business. Right. Not everybody else's business, not because we don't know. I don't know. You don't know.
Right.
You know your stuff. You should be. And I tell these companies and these small leaders, because I have a vast group of leaders that I work with, men and women. Focus on your business and focus on what you can be doing, the value you can be bringing. One, how do you bring value during a pandemic?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, then building a strategy for what is the strategy in the next 25 days, 45 days, 90 days for you as a company? And are you meeting with your people on a regular basis, like every day? Because you're home. It's, because you're not working doesn't mean you're not working, right? So like I said, be productive. Stay home, and not just stay home, but be productive. And it takes all of us a little bit of time to figure that out and how do, but I'll tell you, a lot of benefit right now is companies. And I heard a story yesterday. A company now is basically, with this remote thing, they loved it to the point where they're moving the entire company to a remote platform now.
Wow.
And they're going to be shutting down their offices. So I think what people are realizing is how much they can get done, even the productivity for many by working remotely, and companies are realizing, wow, there's no need. I've worked remote for 15 years.
Right. Yeah.
My teams have worked remote, outside of production companies or studios that we've had working on products but I haven't had a brick and mortar office for 15 years, nor have the people that work with me. Why? Because it's restricting.
Right.
It's totally restricting. I just care about results, right? How can you execute? And so for the people that work with me, you do what you want. This is your time. You work when you want to work, but you know what we have to do to get it done. So
right.
If you have to go to your kid's game at 2:00, or you got to go to a 10:00 school meeting, I don't really care what you do. You got to get your hair done at 11:30. That's great. Do whatever you got to do. I don't care. Nails, fine. I don't want to know.
Right. Just get it done. Get her done.
Let's get it done. We have 24. I always look at it. You don't have 8 hours a day. See, that's the problem with a 9 to 5, right? You have you have this amount of time to get it done. No, you have 24 hours in a day. Choose how you want to use those 24 hours.
That's awesome. Books that you're reading? Anything timely now?
Google.
Ha.
Yeah, Google. I mean, I was a big reader for many years, books. To sit and read 250 pages of a single mind, it's not how we take in information anymore. So yeah. I would say Google. There's podcasts. There's all types of information to read online. You're getting bits and pieces of what you need to get. That's my world right now.
That was my next question. Like, who are you following? Who are the folks to follow now? Good resources.
Man, I mean, I follow people that I resonate
with you.
I mean, LeBron James. I'm just gonna say I follow LeBron James and say, well, he's everything, man. He lives his life in a way that I really appreciate and resonate with, and he conducts himself in a manner that I appreciate. I want to have that in my life, that energy. Associated with me. I don't see him, I don't talk to him, but I watch him and I listen to some of the things he says. Gary Vee. If you don't know who Gary Vee is, guys, I will tell you, probably one of the great voices right now in society worldwide. To listen to him, I haven't heard anybody in my lifetime, and I've listened to a lot of people communicate. I haven't heard anybody in my lifetime who is so pertinent on just common sense life, common sense, and he's not selling anything. Mm-hmm. So Gary Vee to me is a must for anybody out there. He's profound communicator.
Trina says, yeah, Gary Vee. Okay. And, I was always taught that good coaches, good consultants, you need your own coach. You need somebody pouring back into you. Who are some of those people that you attribute or thank for being kind of resources for yourself?
So, I read in many decades of my life, I did a lot of reading, I learned from everybody around me. I mean, I think I'm not a big guy on mentorship. And this is what I mean by mentorship. Like, I have a lot of people that call and talk to me, but I learn as much from them as they learn from me. For me, I'm still learning. I'm not a mentor. I just have experiences that could benefit you and bring value to you. But you're 21 years old, and I need to know and understand how you think, and I need to learn that as well. So that's, for me, it's really important. So listen to everyone, like everyone, my teams that are around me. I'm not the leader. Greg's the leader. I'm a leader, which just simply means I'm gonna make sure everyone's free to do what they need to do, man. I'm gonna make sure everyone's doing what they love to do, and anyone comes in and tries to mess that up, I'm gonna whack them. As a leader, my job is to protect the environment so that people can grow, and be who they are. And you come and I'll whack you, man. That's my job as a leader, to make sure we have a clean runway to fly.
All right, let's get some of these questions. Tamara says, my daughter is a young entrepreneur, 14 years old. Are there specific resources you'd recommend for her? Would the resources she would utilize be any different than an adult?
If she's going into a certain area in her entrepreneurship, whether she's starting this company or this app, whatever it is, she has to devour. What I would tell her, she's got to devour that industry. Mm-hmm. I've said this a lot of times. What I do is I go into an industry as a novice and I come out as an expert. Yeah. And you do that by figuring out, talking to everybody in that industry. So it's not necessarily a resource, and it's her just doing it. I mean, I don't want that. To me, I cannot stress more than anything. Do it. You learn more from your experience than you will from somebody telling you something.
Yeah.
Right? You want perspective. So as she's going in, all entrepreneurs, I tell them, I don't tell people what to do. I give them a perspective.
Yeah.
Because you have to, like your daughter's 14. I trusted my kids growing up. I trust them today. I used to say this to them, I'll never tell you what to do, but do what I tell you. And they go, well, Dad, that's the same thing. I go, no, it's not. Because I've never told you what to do, but do what I tell you. And what I tell you is a perspective, which means I'm going to turn your head into a direction that you weren't looking before, so you can get a better view of your situation, so you can determine what to do. See that? That's really important, man. You tell them what to do, then you always got to tell them what to do, because you're not teaching them how to
be thinkers. Yeah.
Think. You give them perspective. And so for me, as I'm a perspective coach, I'll sit with a business leader. I don't want to tell them what to do. It's not my job. They're leaders, man. They got where they are without me. They want to get somewhere else. I'll just give them a broader, wider view, so they can go, oh, I didn't see that, man. They know what to do, man, intuitively, right? So that 14-year-old girl of yours, man, believe in her. Even if you don't understand what she wants to do, that you don't have to understand. Who are you?
Right.
You to call out what somebody's telling you they believe they should be doing, right? Like that's a mitigated goal when humanity says, I don't think you should be. No, you got to listen. My son at 8 years old, my son said to me, I want to be an actor. I could have awesome, Noah, you want to be an actor. That's really great. He said that to me, and I took it serious. I didn't want him to be I didn't care if he was 8 years old. And I listened to what he said, and then I watched his behavior, and I said, this kid wants to be an actor. So my job was to, as an 8-year-old, he couldn't drive his car somewhere and go actor. Right. I had to help and support that dream.
Yeah.
Best that I can. And the rest is history. Now Noah's Noah. So, but I listen to your kids. So that's what I would say to you. Just give her perspective, and don't always let me tell you what can go wrong. No, also tell her what can go right. Mm-hmm. We just, as people, we just always lean to the negative, man. Yeah. So what can go? Yeah. My dad used to do that. He said, it's positive. My dad he would always tell me what can go wrong.
Right.
So then I said, I don't care anymore what goes wrong. I don't, because everything goes wrong. I can't go. Is anything going to go right if I do it?
All right.
I wanted to open. I was 12. I wanted to open a hot dog stand. Yeah, a list of things of what can go wrong. I'm selling hot dogs. Yeah, I throw a couple of hot dog shops. They don't buy them. I lose sauerkraut. I lost a couple. What do you want me to? Everything can go wrong with a hot dog stand. Go do the hot dog stand. He should have said, go. That's why I tell them, go try it. Just
try it. Yeah. Well, we talk about when we do dream building stuff, we talk about all the time, when you get right to the edge, when you're about to launch something, do something, you'll have that multitude of people that will come with the, oh no, and watch out. And much of it can be based in love, that kind of protective thing. But man, at some point you just got to fly. So yeah, thank you, Tamara, for that question. Monique says, I love what you said about not overcoming fear, but you became brave. Do you have any simple practical tips on getting to that point? When I finally have the space to create content, I freeze, she says.
Man, Monique, I hear you, man. And, there was a great line in, I can't remember, a great movie. I think it was Mel Gibson was in it. It says, it's not brave unless you're afraid. So it's not brave unless you're afraid. Yeah. 4 years ago, I had to reinvent myself. Like I've reinvented myself like 12 times in my lifetime. And I jump into new industries and so I understand fear, but 4 years ago was the scariest moment for me, because I had to embrace social media. I had to not just hire people to help me, because I was doing that, and I started to realize that nobody knows what they're doing with social media. Like social media is an animal. So I'm hiring people, and I'm realizing they don't know what they're doing. And so I realized, all right, Greg, you've got to do this. Like you've got to do like you did in every industry, come in as a novice. And when you walk out of social media, you're never an expert. The experts in social media are the ones that say, I still don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to tell you, I had a guy tell me 3.5 years ago, he said, so what you do, you need to now just just do a video. Just when you're walking down by the beach, just pick your phone up and go ahead and just talk into your phone. I mean, what do you mean just talking to my phone? Yeah, just push it and walk and talk into your phone. And it really, that, okay. To me, that was like telling me climb Mount Everest. Climb Mount Everest. And I show up, dude, what do you mean just push the button? And what am I going to, how does it work? Am I going to be an idiot when I say, So Monique, I totally get it, man. I was horrified. And the truth of the matter is, listen, just pick up your phone.
Just do it.
Talk. Just do it, man. Because it doesn't matter. Your first one, your last one, the ones in between, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's the truth. No one's going to remember how bad, if it was bad, it's bad. They flip, they walk past, and they don't care. They don't
it's
think
gone, right?
And then you get good, and just do it, man. Like, just put it out. I'm telling Bella 1,000 times. Bella's Jules's daughter, my stepdaughter. She's 20, and she's living in Atlanta, trying to be an actress. And I just say to her, how many lives have you done so far since the pandemic? None. Well, you need to do a live. Well, I just need to do a live. You have no choice. You do the Instagram live. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I don't care what you say, what you've done. And now I do this all the time. I just say what I believe I want to say, and I listen to what I want to listen. Just do it, Monique. Just trust me.
Just do it, girl. Just do it. Evelyn says somebody believed in her, so now she has 2 CDs coming out this year. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Amazing.
That is awesome.
Love it.
Simply put, Trina said that was empowering. I saw a comment, Neil, that you had, and I'm trying to get back to it. Basically, you were asking about the intuition thing. I think he said he has trouble kind of tapping into that aspect. Any thoughts that you can share with him on that?
Yeah. So, you have the intuition, for lack of a better description, is like a voice that's not audible. And yet it's a feeling that is a voice. And, I think a lot of times, and this is not on anybody in society, but the world that we live in seems to be against that voice. And so it feels like the world as a system kind of tries to bury that voice alive. I've found in people where they don't have confidence in themselves. So the intuitive voice has to do with your confidence because it's coming from you. Yeah. But it's not you, but it comes from you. And if you don't trust yourself, have confidence in yourself, or believe in yourself, or you've been told your whole life, I'm not saying you were, Neil, but if somebody was told the whole life that they're a failure, or they're never going to succeed, then you will not really trust. It becomes a very faint voice. You learn not to listen to it. So I've grown very intimate with my intuition, and it comes and I feel it and I sense it. And I was young when it first started. So I would just tell you, one is, where's your confidence level? And if I'm going to take a shot in the dark, because I don't even know who you are, but I would say maybe, you had positive upbringing or didn't have a positive upbringing, but it was positive, but yet it was always kind of slanted. Or he said, yeah, it was me. Then, man, you're going to struggle with. That's why this is very powerful, what Jesus said. And the full quote, what I'm about to give you, is never given. I've never heard it fully spoken about. I always hear the golden rule is love your neighbor, right? Love your neighbor is the golden rule. But there's a second part to that statement that's left out: as you love yourself. Yeah. So you realize you don't even, to the degree in which you love your neighbor is only to the degree in which you can love yourself. So your love, the ability for you to love, is based on how much you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then that's what you're going to give out. It's just a reality. So what happens with that the intuitive part is that because self, you're made in the image of God, right? Then if you quench that, you're literally quenching God.
Yeah.
So that voice becomes faint because it continually gets pushed down. So love is such an important concept. It's the most important concept in the universe, is love. And so you have to overcome anything that you've ever heard that was negative about you. Okay, it's not true. I'm not saying there are negative things that you've done. I'm not saying that some of your personality sucks. Maybe it does, but that doesn't make you bad, and it doesn't make you something worthless. Okay. I always say take the good with the bad, because that's who I am. Like me, hate me, this is who I am. And I love both sides to me. I tell my kids, I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet in your entire life. Let's get that out of the way. All right. I'm the nicest guy who's an asshole. Out of the way. Let's move on with life now. And Neil, you got to do the same thing. You got to do the same thing, man. And you've got to start to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Start to trust yourself, man, and believe in yourself. And what you're gonna fight is not yourself. You're gonna fight those voices that you keep hearing that have been ingrained in your head by whoever it was or how many people. And that's what you have. I'm gonna tell you, it's not true what they're saying. And the reason it's not true, because they're only alive. They've only been alive for 40 or 50 or 60 years. Right. And what the hell do they really know anyway? That's why you can't follow anybody, because we're on the same boat.
Right.
I'm a little older. I'm still learning. I don't even know what I'm telling you is true. I think it is, right? But who the hell am I?
So you heard Greg talk about his son. And I think, one of the most beautiful things is when you raise a good person. And I wanted to share with you all a little bit about Greg's son, Noah. But he's a breakout star on Netflix. For those of you who are Netflixers like me, To All the Boys I Loved Before was the franchise. They just came out with part 2, P.S. I Still Love You. From there, man, he got some other great opportunities. Charlie's Angels movie came out 2019. He did some independent projects that were great, some other Netflix stuff. Sarah Burgess.
Sarah Burgess, The Loser, Perfect Date.
Perfect Date.
Yeah. I'm in a movie with him, but
good job playing his dad, by the way, Greg. That was awesome.
He doesn't like me promoting that movie. He loved the movie. It was great. He did it a few years ago. It's called Swipe. Now it's called
Swipe. That was it. I just want to say that I've seen his recent posts on Instagram and stuff, and he's starting his own philanthropic thing in the midst of all of this, the pandemic. And so, you all go follow Noah, follow Greg.
He's got a charity he's launched. He's been working on it for about 2.5 years, called Favored Nations. You can check it out. And now that's all money that goes into buying any kind of apparel goes 100% to charities of your choice. And now they're feeding the pandemic crisis right now. He's on every night in LA at 9:00. Does his Instagram live and updates everybody. No, he's a great case in point he built his career, man. And we helped him up until the point when he had to really do his thing. He'd come back for advice, here and there when he was 18 to 20 and so forth. And my daughter, I have to mention my daughter, because what I just said to everybody, what we just talked about, right? My son, I pointed him in those directions and I said, walk. You want to do this? Then walk. Do that. When he called me at 18, said, "Hey, Dad, I think I'm going to quit acting." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because I'm just getting all these no's. It's just one no after another." I go, "Okay, well," I said, "Why you?" I said, "So the auditions, you get a nose." I go, "So why do you?" I said, let's find the why. Why do we audition? He says, "To get a role." I go, "No, you don't audition to get a role. You audition to create awareness." Because in the room when you go audition, you have a casting director, you have a director, you have a producer, and you have a camera person. And guess what? The chances of you getting that role are very narrow, because it's about chemistry, the right look, everything. There's so many variables. So if you go into every audition think I'm going to get it, and you don't, and you think it's because you suck as an actor, it's not. It's because you weren't what they were looking for.
Right.
But they now know you, and if you're memorable, that they're going to think of you when that's the kid I want. Noah. Oh, so you audition to create awareness, right? And so again, stop putting your hands into the future and making decisions in the present because you think and then, 4 years later, he blew up.
Yeah.
He became so my daughter graduates Pepperdine two years ago, and she was going to be a journalist. She said, "I want to be a journalist." I said, "Okay, don't be a journalist. What do you want to do?" She goes, "I want to go into the industry. I want to produce. I want to create." But I said, "Okay, walk that way. That's the direction you walk, right there." And I said, "Let me just, so you know," I said, "You network the hell out of the place, because that's how you do this, man." And guess what she did? And she did. And now she works with one of the big production companies. She worked her way up. What usually takes 7 years, she did in 2 years. So this is not just words, right? This is, but it's action, people taking steps, being afraid, doing it anyway because they're brave. and making and creating and willing their dreams into reality, man. That's thriving in a disrupted world, which should always be disrupted
Right.
because we've got to disrupt to move forward in anything we do. So embrace disruption.
So thanks so much, man, for popping in. Thanks so much for sharing your time. Like you said, can't get it back. So I really appreciate your investment of time.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. Love you all to life. Mwah. Bye-bye.
One time I tell them I'm California dreaming.